Hey everyone, welcome back. Icon here. Thanks so much for checking into another episode of Esports Analysis. Today, I want to go through and I want to talk about an issue that I'm seeing all the time in these competitive Call of Duty matches, and I don't think that there's enough attention being paid to it. So I saw this happen a few times during the event that we had last weekend, and it seems like all the time there are usually, I don't know, I guess not all the time, but a lot of times you'll hear people complaining about spawns and where people are going after they die. So you die and you spawn in a place that doesn't really make sense. And I wanted to break down a specific instance. Now, I do just real quick want to remind you that each of these teams that are in this Call of Duty League fronted $25 million as an entry fee. So $300 million went into this league initially, and this is some of the stuff that we're getting in certain scenarios. So just to kind of point this out, make it a little bit easier to see, let's go ahead and get into this. So again, this is from the OpTic Chicago match. So we're about to rotate to the second hill. So the first hill, as you can see on screen in the bottom left-hand corner, the first hill is just right in the middle right here. And from this, it's about to rotate back to the second hill. So second hill is right over here, and we're about to rotate that way. So when we're about to do this, I want to point a few things out. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to let it play. And as this is happening, I want to show you guys exactly where people are at. So as we press play, we're going to let this play. They go to a little bit of a static cam, and then we're going to hop on board with Scum. So right now, just to kind of point this out, if you're talking about where Chicago is located, they have one person here. Scump is right here, and that's who we're watching. They have one person here. They have one person in the cave, and when Gunless comes up, he's going to be back here. Now, by the time I stop it again, so if we're just talking about positions on the map, it's clear that this is a really good setup, right? Maybe this person right here, so maybe this guy that's parked out over here could probably be changed a little bit. You might want him a little bit closer, but still, this isn't bad by any means. So with that, let's just let this play, okay? So Scump and TJ are going to have a battle here right at this cave cut. So TJ is going to come in. Scump gets this kill, okay? You're going to see somebody come off spawn here. So when you're watching RCs right here, so right there, you can't really see all that much, but as of right now, I'm gonna point this out. You can see where all 5 people's positions are. Okay, so it's a little bit hard to notice, but Arcides is right here, right? And 3 people are down for OpTic. Do we see the 1, 2, 3, the three skulls and crossbones right there by Arcides? So Arcides is there, and then there are 3 inside the hill and 1 coming off spawn, okay? So if we're looking, there's a Chicago title right here. There's a Chicago title right here. A Chicago title right there. And Envoy is the one that's in hill. So essentially what we have is we have Envoy in hill, and then we have one. Remember, Scump was at this mid cut, and this person has actually come back. So this person's coming back to help out. So if you're talking about positioning and where you should be on the map, this is perfect, right? They just got 3 dead, and they have all 5 people up, and they're all right around where they should be. So now let me just back this up, because this is the problem, okay? Do we see this arrow right, or that light green arrow right there? That's TJ. Remember TJ? We just saw him in a gun battle with Scump. If we take this and we go back just a tiny bit, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to go back 10 seconds. Scump's going to turn around here. He's going to battle TJ. So TJ's dead, right? If we point this out, Scump just killed TJ. So remember our setups here. Remember exactly where everybody's at. As we go ahead and we let this play, now that we've seen a little bit what we're watching for, watch right here on screen. So watch what happens right there. That's where he spawns in. So as we play this, we're going to let the last, right there, he just popped in. Think about the setups that we have. There's why would he spawn there? What's the, it just doesn't make any sense. When you clearly have one area of the map locked down, right? Arcides, they had 3 people in hill. Scump was mid-map, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's exactly where they are. And then in terms of OpTic, we just talked about how they had 3 people go down, right? We can see the 3 skulls and crossbones go down there. The fact that he gets that spawn it's just insane to me. It just doesn't make any sense. So as we go through and we watch this, I want you to watch the kill feed. Remember, Envoy is the one that's in hill. We pointed him out before, right? Up here, if we just look real quick, Envoy's right here. This is where the hill's at, so Envoy's in hill. So if we just follow this a little bit longer, Arcides is going to go down, and then look at where all these OpTic players are respawning at. You can see it right here in the minimap. Right there. Those 3 skulls and crossbones that went down, that's where they're spawning. What have they done strategically to earn the proper spawn for this current hardpoint? So if we go through and we just let this play, right there in the kill feed, right? That's what we see. TJ just killed Envoy. And then now, when these people that die from Chicago come off spawn, they're going to be spawning out. And this is, again, what did Chicago do there that deserved or that warranted OpTic spawning behind them? If you think about it, if we were to go back, remember, in terms of our setups, everybody from Chicago was in the hill. Let's just go back 15 seconds here. We go back 15 seconds, and when this starts to play, look at all of the map. So, again, Chicago has this area right here occupied. That's where their players are. So, why in any world would somebody spawn in this area? So, after OpTic dies, why would they spawn there? They could spawn anywhere else. Why wouldn't they spawn on this entire half of the map? Right? If we're thinking about it, what did they do to earn that proper spawn? So as we go through and we play this, I'm just going to let this roll here, but we'll see this again. Scump comes back. He ends up killing TJ. And then as he's rotating back, 3 people go down. Scump, Arcides, Gunless get 3 pieces. And then as this rotates through, OpTic gets the favorable spawn, and then Chicago ends up spawning out. So if we stop this right here, now you can see exactly where those spawns are happening. So they're right in here. Oops, my bad. But they are right in here, right? This is where all the Chicago arrows are, and there's one up there. That's where they ended up spawning. So, and even that, I mean, if you're overtaking a hard point, that's a little bit more respectable, right? If they're spawning right here in mid-map, then I would say that's a good spawn, because essentially what that would allow whoever is in control of the hill to do is it would allow them to push up and lock down these lanes again, right? If you get kills, you can then push up and lock down those chokes so that you're, again, in a more favorable spot. And then as this goes ahead and we play this a little bit further, I want you to look at the kills again. Arcides got a kill. Formal got a kill. Let's look at where the OpTic arrows are. So look at all of these. So now if you're talking about where people probably should spawn, now look at the map presence from Chicago. They are now pushed up into this area of the map, and look at all these skulls. If there's anybody that should be spawning out right now, it's the team that's dying close to the hill, and then the team that's pushing into the hill at least should get contested spawns in some sort of way. So if we go ahead and let this play, they get pushed back even further. So Dashy's in hill, but now like these OpTic spawns, look at where these OpTic spawns are happening. Why? It just doesn't, there's no consistency. What happened right in that moment were for TJ to get that spawn the last time through? So I don't know. I don't want to continue to harp on this, but it just seems like that stuff is happening all the time. So when Chicago was set up there for the second hill, they were, right, you would be crazy to think that they weren't set up to take advantage and regain the lead. But as it played out, it just didn't work out that way. And then as we push up, so now look who has control of the hill. So if we go through and we look at this, Gunless is in hill, Arcides, Scump, Envoy, they're pushed up, right? So if they're getting kills all the way back here, why aren't these guys spawning out? You have control of the map. You have control of the hill. You've just won a couple team gun battles to push OpTic back. Why are they not spawning on the other 90% of the map? It's just when a team pushes up and gets control of the hill, that's when the enemy team should be spawning out, right? If you're pushed up into a corner hill like this and you're inside of it, then that's when the enemy team should be spawning out. So, I don't know. There's just little inconsistencies like this all the time. Now, it didn't end up costing them because Chicago ended up winning this anyways. But if you're just talking about right here, who has control of the map, who has control of the hill, who has fought their way into the hill, then that should be Chicago, right? And they should have control of spawns and map position, and the enemy team should be spawning out. So as we let this play, there's like 15 seconds left. And essentially at this point, it ends up just kind of being, but even still, so even those people that are going down, so Kenny went down, Slasher went down, even as we play this and we see where they come up, they're still spawning right here. They're still spawning back here on this side of the map. And to me, that just, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. If you're getting controlled in the hill like that, they need to be spawning out. I don't know if it's a proximity thing. I don't know how to fix it, right? I'm not a game designer or a game developer, or I don't work on stuff like this, but this is one of the major issues that people have, and you can see why. When stuff like this is happening, essentially, there's no reason why Chicago shouldn't have a lead right now, and that's just not how the map ended up playing out. So I'm not going to harp on this any longer, but when you're watching streams and you hear pros complain about spawns and stuff like that, a lot of times it just sounds like they're whining or they're complaining, but that's the reason why. And I just wanted to put out there to the community some of the stuff that's going wrong and some of the stuff that needs fixed, because if this is a competitive esport and it has so much money and so much financial backing, this stuff needs to be fixed. To me, as somebody that breaks this down in terms of strategy, that's just not acceptable, because Chicago did everything to hold it initially, and then they did everything to break it after that, and neither of those series of events ended up going their way in terms of the overall score. So if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I usually break down entire game lengths, so the strategy that goes back and forth throughout the length of a game. This one, I just really wanted to focus on this because I remember watching this and being completely thrown off by it. So with that, guys, thank you so much. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. We'll see you.